Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Still in Canada. And today we have a treat. The guy who got me into trouble starting all of this. We have Jessie from Still It.
What's up?
Yeah, how you doing, bud? It's we talked about this in the past. When I was on the distillers, the homedistillers.org, I followed you around. I was like the little puppy attached to an invisible leash. And I followed you through the whole thing. And when you brought your YouTube channel on, I thought, this is great. And doing this, I started when I was 13. But a lot of years in between, I did nothing. It wasn't until we were looking at a retirement project. We were watching you. The wife, I think, has a crush on you, but we won't go there. And yeah, I can't wait to see that happen. So you've been a blessing to me and Lisa, and I don't think you have a clue. I mean, you're at 156,000 subscribers right now, which is, COVID has just driven your numbers crazy. And the advice you give, as well as the knowledge, we don't have to agree on everything you do, but it's nice when we don't agree because then we research even more. So I must admit, I need to do this.
Stop. That's ridiculous.
So,
yeah,
COVID hits for you. You go down. You're no longer employed. And now you are the king of YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's this funny thing, man, where it's kind of, it's all relative, right? When you're first starting out, or when I was first starting out for me, I should talk about me, not a hypothetical you. It's kind of like, oh my God, 500 subscribers. If I can get to 500, that'd be awesome. And then 1,000, and then 5,000, and then 10,000. And every one of those landmarks is kind of like, before you hit it, it's this crazy goal that maybe one day I'll get to. But there's just something about, I think it's something about being your own boss as well. When you're working on a project like this, whenever you make something, you get about 45 seconds of celebration time, and then the satisfaction of getting to that just disappears, and suddenly you're looking at the people that are way above you again. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's this weird thing of it's relative, right? So wherever you are, it's kind of, now I'm looking at guys like the Whiskey Tribe and the Modern Rogue, and suddenly for me, 100 to 200,000 subscribers is small fry, and how do you get to the next level?
Yeah, but also they're not your category. I mean, your category is doing all this experimenting. So
yeah,
and you don't have a.
I knew that this sort of channel would never be the million subscriber channel. Just, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe one day in a world where distilling gets legalized in America, and maybe, but but still relative. Anyway, this is me being modest, trying to get out of any form of compliment. Modest is not the right word. The right word is tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand. So what I should have said is, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. And then moved on.
No, that's fine. We come to expect what we expect. I've been watching, and sporadically, I've just been inundated for the last year with everything that was going on. Oh, plus opening up a new distillery.
You must have been so freaking busy.
Oh, unbelievably. I'm pulling 18-hour days, and luckily I only need 4 hours sleep a day. But I felt bad because, I've dedicated, and this is a passion to be able to do the YouTube channel, and to have to let that go, orphan that child, because you're so invested in everything else. That one really hurts. So I'm trying to get back. We're trying to be in shape, and, the priorities had to take hold. So, it's time to relearn again and get back to it. There's a lot of exciting things we want to get done, and, grow in here as well. But I've seen I've seen you growing too. I'm watching, you've got an eye still there. You've got a claw hammer. You got a few other things. You got some neat toys in the back room.
Yeah, man. Not an eye still. It's a Genio.
Okay, great.
The way I understand it is that Genio used to I still used to build Genio's equipment, and it was a badge exercise, and
Actually,
then
there's
rebuilt.
the Canadian dealer for Genio is a good friend of the original designer, and I've heard the whole story, which I'm not going to repeat here.
Yeah, I got the feeling there was some tension somewhere along the line. Angry Polish people didn't seem like a great thing to insert myself in between.
No, you want to stay away from there. You don't understand what they're saying, anyways. But when their hands start flying, you just kind of back away and go, "Yep, okay, that's fine."
Yeah, I just kind of glossed over that whole thing, and yeah, wasn't my place to insert myself into it. It's a cool toy. I don't use it a whole lot. I'm sure you know the same thing from the YouTube channel. There's always this constant battle of you want to show off cool toys, but then at the same time you don't want everything to be inaccessible for people. So it's this constant thing of let's do something crazy that I need the Genio for every now and again, but then at the same time I need to do something that is maybe the other equipment I've got is the best tool to actually do the job and to create the best equipment. But instead of doing that, let's just do it with a T500, because that's accessible for people and easy for people to get into. And when there's beginners watching the channel, it's not a case of, well, that would be fun, but shit, I don't have the equipment, so I'm just going to not,
Yep. Yeah. And I remember us having that discussion 2 years ago, where you don't over equipment that people can't afford.
Yeah. But then, I guess a lot of the inspiration for me comes from stuff that's even completely unrelated, right? Like watching Linus Tech Tips or something like that, or MKBHD, or tech channels. I like that stuff when I'm just tuning out and watching YouTube just for fun. But I think those guys have really that whole tech YouTuber industry has had a long time to mature, and they do a really good job of let's build the cheapest freaking computer we can possibly build and see if we can run a game on it, and then we'll literally spend $15,000 to $20,000 on a computer, not because it's going to actually make the game any better, but shit, it'll be fun. And we'll figure out how to run the game, and then everything in between. So yeah, that's sort of something I'm working on, trying to.
I feel like I fell into a few of those as well, but yeah.
Yeah, man. So you need to catch me up, dude. We haven't had a chance to talk a whole lot, so I'm not sure what's going on in your world. The last I knew that you had a plan to get all set up, and you had a plan to get into the distillery, if not full time, a fair whack of your time, and then COVID.
Yep. So for 2 weeks, we opened February the 6th of last year. For 2 weeks, we made booze. Then for 5 months, we made sanitizer. And I think what hurt the most or shed the most tears is I had 5,000 liters of whiskey ready for barrels when we opened, but I hadn't barreled in, and we hadn't received the barrels that we had ordered. So because they weren't there, the hospitals were actually calling, and the frontline workers were actually driving by and knocking on the door asking, "Can you help us?" It got to a point where, and we've always done charity work in the past. We're pretty heavy into that. So I just looked up at my tower, and I'm going, well, there goes my whiskey. All got turned into sanitizer, every drop of it. And then we're once we got that out to the hospitals, that helped. That gave us a bit of a buffer. But now we're looking, going, I've only got 6 fermenters. I've got them cranked up, double yeast. A lot of them in kicked in and helped out, and provided the knowledge and everything to get our mashes done through fast. And I don't do sugar washes, so they helped with a lot of that. And in fact, corn is cheaper per specific gravity than sugar is here. So I was still doing corn.
Wow.
And we just started whacking them in. Then all of a sudden the beer guys, and we have some large beer companies around here, and they're all saying all our stuff in kegs and everything else is not going to make it to market. So they started throwing that in totes and then delivering it here. So at one point in time, I had 26,000 liters of beer I had to run. And then another company
as a factory.
Yeah, another company just dropped off to all the kegs. So I had 200 of the half kegs and another 150 of the full-size kegs. And you'll see, I'm putting a video out in a couple of weeks. shows all that experience and actually having to pressurize a keg and have it pour right into the still. So that, and then we ended up with, at one point in time, we had 24 fermenters, 1,000-liter fermenters on the go on a constant cycle. So the stills never really shut down. I stopped running both stills at the same time, and I just started running one, loading the other, and I just kept cycling them around. So yeah, it was endless. And when all that sanitizer got finished, the hospitals, the frontline workers, we donated it all to them. So that's all out of pocket to a good degree.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
We kept sanitizer around for the construction workers, the road crews, and all that, and we sold that to them. And I think we had about $1 profit in each bottle, and we used that profit in order to donate to food banks. So we just, this way the town started helping out with the donations to the local charities. That was the best way we could work it. We went through all that. The one neat thing is, in our first 2 weeks, we entered the U.S. Open whiskey competition, the spirits competition, and the Canadian artisanal spirit competition. That was in the first 2 weeks. We sent all the bottles right off. And then we just forgot about it. Come the fall, the Canadian one, the U.S. Open, posted their results. And what we were looking for, the reason why we actually entered is because we're a brand new distillery. We've been open 2 weeks. All this stuff I actually made before we even opened. And in these competitions, they give you notes. So every judge writes down a paragraph of what they thought of that spirit. So
nice. Yep.
That's what we were looking for. We were looking for a common thread to adjust our spirit for a better thing. And you're always going to get one that says it's garbage, another one says it's incredible. Yeah. And you're just looking for the common denominator. In the U.S. Open Whiskey Competition, we won gold, we won bronze, and we won the top 5 distilleries in North America.
Awesome, man. That's real cool.
In the Canadian spirits, we won several awards, including Best in Class. So we have 7 awards in total. That was our first year.
That's awesome, dude. So pressure's on for year 2. You better sort this shit out, mate. Whoa. Yeah. My computer's trying to restart on me. No, go away. Don't do that.
Another wonderful Windows update.
Yeah.
So just as we were getting into the fall, the sanitizer died down. We're still making it. We are still actually selling it. We ended up, we had already hired an agent. Now in Canada, or in Ontario, we have the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. So we have a monopoly on liquor sales outside of our store. We have licensing. We can actually go to restaurants and sell our stuff there for them to sell at the bar. That's a waste of time at this moment. We're still in shutdown.
Yeah.
So our best hope was the LCBO. Now, when we did up our, our proposal at the beginning of this, LCBO was to be 80% of our sales and our storefront to be the other 20. We hired an agent. They didn't make it through the first round of COVID. So we lost 2 chances with the LCBO. We hired another agency after we got the lawyer involved, made sure our contract was already voided from the first one. And then the second agency ghosted us, so we missed 3 submissions. So here we are a year down the road, and we have no submission to the LCBO. So now I'm online trying to become an agent myself so that I can handle my own place. That's a bit of if you've ever done paperwork with the government, that's a bit of a nightmare. So we're into the fall of last year. And the one thing we always wanted to do was to have an advent calendar, 24 50 ml bottles and, all of the nice little box, the whole bit. And the company that we had hired for that in the spring, or at least had talks with, didn't make it either. So COVID hit Ontario really quite hard. In October, this fellow walks through our door because we're looking at an online store, which we're still don't have it ready yet. And we wanted him for boxes for our online so we can mail them out. And we told him about the advent calendar. This is the last week of October. And he says, "Oh, I can make that for you." This includes a plastic tray that is heat made, the whole bit. So we looked and going, yeah, do it. First week in November, we ordered 12,000 50 ml bottles. And the second week in November, we got the boxes. And the 22nd of November, we had the boxes for sale.
That's nuts, man.
The second week of November, the wife looks at me. She says, we are 6 short of different varieties because I refuse to make any doubles. So it was 24 individual flavors, and we built up a good catalog. And I had been working on a few flavors throughout the summer. And that's one thing sanitizer did. I mean, my stills have been so abused just from running. The neat thing is I was running test batches of stuff I wanted to produce down the road. So, if I want a whiskey, I'm going to run at 65 ABV. Well, if I run it, a little bit at 65, crank the rest up to 95 and run that's sanitizer all day long. So it worked out for a lot of different recipes that, I would have had to done on the 100-liter still, and I didn't waste anything. So I was kind of happy there. So it was a Monday. I remember I had the day off, and I was at the distillery. And Lisa comes in on the Tuesday, and I said, well, I didn't do 6 new flavors. Here's 11. Choose 6. So we came out with some pretty neat flavors. And we're going to do the Advent calendar again. A lot of, when you're a first-year distillery and you're not in a supply chain, you can't be known for whiskey. In the States, yes, you can. You have a 24-hour period in wood. In Canada, you have to be in wood for 3 years plus a day before you can call anything a whiskey. So what do? I mean, we finally caught up with our barreling. We're getting into that. And we look around going, well, we have a white rye now. We've got a vodka. I'm not going to go with vodka flavorings. So we started into liqueurs, and we're doing a fair amount of liqueurs. At this point in time, we're starting to peel back our liqueurs, and now we're getting into our gins. So we're setting up the botanicals, and we're going to start doing a lot of experimental runs. We have some pretty neat styles we want to run, and we're not going to use NGS. We're actually going to produce all the alcohol ourselves. So it's all going to be based off our vodka, because our vodka has a creamy mouthfeel to it. We expect this to carry over with the gin as well. So
what's your base spirit for the vodka? What are you using for the fermenters?
The vodka is primarily barley with corn and rye. Okay, and it's 30 times distilled using the plates. When we do the stripping runs, we run it through our 5-plate, reload it in the first still, and run it through 25 more plates. So, cool, and then the charcoal filter, I tried a couple of there, and there's something else going on while we're making sanitizers. This drip down Kentucky, Tennessee style of charcoal filter is not working for us. It's not doing what I expect or what I want. So I turned to the guys that manufacture my stills and said, here's what I want. This is how I want it set up. And they manufactured it to me, shipped it over from China, and I had it within a month. And yeah, it was exactly what I wanted.
Oh, awesome, man. So what's the difference? What's the
neat thing is I can load this a lot differently. A lot of people are using like carbon sheets, and they put it in a press. This is a tubular setup. It's got 3 stone filters into it, so no particulates will get through. But now I can load this a lot differently. And here's where the advantage is. I've got activated charcoal. Yeah, I've got bamboo. I've got coconut shell, and I got hard maple. So with that ability to add different types of charcoals into there, it actually does change the flavor profile.
Yeah, interesting. That's kind of cool. So all of that is it's all charcoal of those products. So it's charcoal, coconut shell. It's not just coconut shell.
Nope. It's all charcoal. Yep.
Cool, man.
So I mean, activated the charcoal and the bamboo, or the coconut and the bamboo. The porous size of them collects different esters coming out of the vodka. So those two working in combination, and then we put the wood in there. And you know what? It's funny. We ran it with just the two, the bamboo and the coconut shells, and I was getting a really nice clean spirit, and it was nice, but it was kind of flat on the tongue. As soon as I threw the maple in there, all of a sudden it started getting to be a bit of a thicker and a sweeter. So I don't know what it's pulling out of that charcoal, but wow.
Yeah, right. Crazy. So you think it's flavor addition from the charcoal, not
Yes.
it's an addition, not a removal process that's changing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's removing some, but it's definitely imparting something in there.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I haven't played with maple a lot. What? I did age something on maple, and I was surprised at how much like maple syrup it made. It
And
really
that's
did.
it.
Yeah,
And
it gave
you
it
know
a
what?
it gave it a flavor and kind of an impression of sweetness without sweetness, but more it was the thick velvety mouthfeel that came along with it, which was
Yep.
really surprising. And actually, in what I'd made, what was it? It was a peated. It was inspired by Connemara, so it was like a Irish style whiskey, but with peat in it. And it didn't really work for that. I didn't really like it, but it is still sitting in the back of my mind of, oh, that's interesting. I've got to find something to use that for.
Yeah, yeah. In the vodka,
Yeah.
yeah, it gives you just a hint of sweetness on the palate
Mhm.
as it finishes. There's I run the vodka and there's no burn whatsoever. So even at 45, 50%, I sell it at 40. It's still that smooth going down. You're not getting any harshness. You're getting that sweet and you're getting that thicker palate on the back of the tongue, which is really, really neat. Now,
Actually, I was just going to say it actually reminds me of glycerin. The same sort of feeling.
you're not going to argue that.
Yeah, and which is why I didn't like it in the whiskey, because it kind of muted everything. It made it kind of
Yep.
a little bit cloying, a little bit sweet, and just kind of steamrolled all the other flavors. But in a vodka where you're just going for, if what you're going for is just easy freaking drinking and smooth, yeah, dude, I could see that working really well. I might have to give that a nudge actually. I wonder
Yeah,
if you could.
yeah.
I wonder. I wonder if you could run it like a rum, like a white rum. So take the vodka, age it on maplewood, and then redistill it. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
To turn it back into a clear spirit,
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, we're going to be experimenting with rums later this year, but yeah, it's
Of course
I
you are.
can keep my mind on the gin for now.
Yeah. Oh, I meant for a vodka. Like make a vodka, age the vodka
Yep.
on maple, and then redistill it. But yeah, dude, you have a serious problem with shiny object syndrome. You didn't read the playbook on how to open a distillery, did you?
uh, well,
Well, you
geez,
did, and thought through that.
I do remember someone saying, "Jump in all the way, and you should get back to swimming." Yeah, I think that's what we did.
Yeah, dude,
Actually,
you
yeah.
did.
I mean, it would have been a whole different scenario if we hadn't had the COVID.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
we had no worries about surviving it because I'm still at work, so this place doesn't have to turn a penny to survive. But yeah, it'd be nicer when it's turning the big penny, so I can kick off the work and stop doing 18-hour days.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's only so long you can keep that up for, eh? That's not sustainable long term.
2 years so far.
Yeah, but
You don't think I turned this white just from
I'm digging the beard, man. I like it. Suits you.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm laughing at the friends are starting to call me Whiskey Santa, so that's kind of entertaining. We'll see how long. It's just there's no hairdressers or anything open. Like I said, Ontario is in a lockdown again until the 22nd of this month. So
I didn't realize you locked down now.
Yeah, we're in our third lockdown.
Dude, that is rough. We are so freaking lucky down here.
Yep.
We had, like, I look back on lockdown fondly. Lockdown was because it was one lockdown that was kind of, it was kind of long, but we're hermits. We don't really go anywhere. And it just forced me to stay home and hang out with the family for ages. So it was really cool. I worked from home for a little while, and then obviously lost the job. But yeah, I don't know. yeah, we just got really, really lucky down here, and then life's been back to normal. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, we had the first lockdown and that hit us hard, and we were kind of laughing because we were just, even where I work, it
You
shut
do.
down, and yeah, the sanitizer was is it it. There's pictures of me sleeping under the stills.
Yeah.
There's days I just didn't go home, just kept on going. And when it got released, I go back to work and I hear all these guys talking about all these projects they got to do and everything else. I'm thinking, yeah, right. But you know what? I came out laughing. I've been smiling through the whole thing because yeah, I'm locked down. It's a shitload of work, but God, do I love doing it. The
Yeah.
creativity and everything else. And like I said, it allowed me a couple of things. It allowed people to know we were here because they were all flocking for sanitizer. And that was a great eye opener. I don't think we could have bought that type of, investment in the community.
Yeah, totally.
It allowed us to
That's the
play
sort of
with
thing
recipes.
that's the sort of thing that'll pay back over the long term too. That's not a short term, advertising campaign. That's now you're part of the community, and people will remember that forever. And I know,
Oh, it
it's
is.
not the you did it. You didn't do it because it was a marketing ploy. You did it because you wanted to help out. But I think it's rightly so that it is beneficial for you as well.
Yeah.
Call it
Yeah.
what you
No,
want.
it's, I mean, if we were
Smart
doing it,
business.
yeah, if we were doing it solely for a beneficial, we didn't need to do the charity portion. We could have just charged,
Yeah.
but yeah, that wasn't going to happen. Once again, we've done charity work for the last 10 years, mostly for Sick Children's Hospital, so it's ingrained into us.
Yeah.
We're at a different stage of life where we are able to give back. So, and it's kind of neat. I still have a lot of people that know your channel. They see your logo out in my lobby, and we go in the back and we have chats and everything else. So it's been fun.
That's cool, man. That's very cool. So what's the kind of short term plan, or the short term? How do you see it playing out? I mean, are you going to be able to open your cellar door, for want of a better word, anytime soon, or is that just not on the
Well,
cards?
we're unlocked down till the 22nd. We still have our storefront open. People can come in and buy bottles. We can't do distillery tours. We can't do tastings. We're sanitizing the hell out of the place after every person's gone through. We're taking their temperatures. We're scanning the whole bit. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
all those are still in play. We're also on a traffic route heavy for the cottage industry. So everybody comes through basically our front doors when they're heading up to the cottage and the campgrounds. And that's a big one. So and like I said, we never planned on the storefront carrying us. It was only 20%. It's mostly a production facility. Well, once we get the rest of it on the way it will be.
it's interesting though, man. I always think, even if it is only 20% of your sales, that, how do you put it? The people that come in, those 20% of people that come in, they're going to be your most valuable customers from the bottle stores and stuff too. People that come in and they get to know you, they get to know your product, they actually give a damn about it. It's not just, what bottle of gin's cheapest or on sale this week. They're going to look for you on the store because they know you, they're invested in it. It's just
Yeah.
kind of the way people work, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
and we've
it's
built,
more than just sales.
yeah, we built a few of our brands around a specific name and everything. So it's interesting how that's playing out. Once again, in our business plan, the front store was 20%, the LCBO was the other 80. Right now, the store is 100%, and yeah, we now once again, you have seen pictures of the front of my store. It is a Doctor Who museum. I've got
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
It's
so
pretty
I've
cool.
got 9 Daleks, and we've got a car in the showroom. The TARDIS is there. So yeah, a lot of people come in and just geek right out because there's all sorts of knickknacks and everything for them to play with. So
Yeah, man, I have to come see that in person sometime.
yeah,
It's on the cards. I don't know when it's going to happen. Obviously, it's not going to happen until the COVID situation.
Yeah,
dramatically
well,
changes there.
I don't suspect it'll be this year, but yeah, we'll look to see if next year's a possibility. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, the thing for us is life's pretty much normal in New Zealand, but I can't go anywhere. I mean, I'd love to be able to go to the Bastards Ball in October for the Whiskey Tribe guys. That'd be awesome. But right now, if I decided to go, I would be stuck in hotels in quarantine for a month, and paying for it all
yeah,
myself.
yeah,
And that sucks. But the even worse part is then I'd get, maybe a week of actual being able to do stuff, and then poor old wife is stuck with the kids by herself for 5.
yeah.
It just,
That's not happening.
work.
That's not happening. You know
Yeah.
that.
If I
So
could,
yeah,
swing 3 weeks away and be able to like really justify these are the 4 things that I'm going to do, and this is, maybe I could do that. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to get away until quarantine's not a thing, unfortunately.
yeah, and we would like to get out as well, and go see a few things. I was
I'm sure
talking
you
with
would.
Bird, and you know her, and she's an entertaining, fascinating young woman. So,
Yeah, that's
uh,
what I am.
and I would really love to go and see some of the Scottish setups because there's a few different things I want to look at doing. So that's tweaking me out as well. And we looked at the flight to New Zealand, and that's a 40-hour flight. So we got to plan around that.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point in time, I'm going to be camping in your backyard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a huge part of what I want to do is do you know Jeff from Beer Wine and Spirits, the other YouTube? He's got a YouTube channel.
I've seen a couple. Not, I don't know them personally.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I'm bringing him up just to say that I'd like to do some stuff, not the same way he does it, but a little bit more like that. Just be able to roll up at a interesting distillery or an interesting even a region of, so Texas was the only example I've sort of got of it on my channel. But it would be great to be able to go to Scotland and go to Islay and Highland and
Oh
blah blah
yeah,
blah, and sort of just showcase a little bit of what cool people are doing. And I think, yeah, I don't know, that'll make me so happy to be able to just get out there and basically be nosy, have an excuse to go in and see what people are doing. And
you know what? You've got 156,000 subscribers. That's going to start climbing even more when the freedom does come. I think you have the advantage to being able to write to some of these distilleries and say, I want to come and spend 3 to 4 days with you folks and just do a whole thing. And
Yeah.
I think the doors will be wide open for you.
I mean, once again, it's a perspective thing, right? If I write to Ardbeg, I won't even get a response. I mean, 156,000 subscriber YouTube channels, just not even, it's the one bacteria cell in one drop of water in the ocean. But there's cool little craft distilleries popping up in those areas as well. And maybe they're not making peated whiskey, maybe they're making gin, but that's an interesting story.
That would be
gin in the region that's known for peated whiskey, for example. So it's.
And how does the water affect their final product? Which, I mean, it's going to. We know that.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows what the story is, right? But I mean, that'd be the cool thing to just be able to go and find out. I mean, that's honestly, man, the best part of all of this for me is being. I mean, other than the fact that it just worked out and a side hustle turned into a way to support the family when everything else got taken out from underneath us. I mean, that's at the end of the day the most important thing, right? Is we can pay the bills and I don't have to stress about the kids, what they're doing and everything. But other than that, the most enjoyable part of it for me on a kind of a personal or even a selfish side of things is just being able to talk to awesome people. Is I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have been able to have this discussion with you.
I don't know. I stalked you pretty good.
No, but I mean, if I didn't start the channel, right, like we never would have met. And then, other people like those other distilleries, right? It was just some random person. Hey, I'm Jessie. I make whiskey in my backyard and I want to pick your brain and steal your ideas so I can make better whiskey in my yeah, I don't know. It's a huge, I guess blessing is the best word I can think of for it without all the extra connotations. But to be able to get in touch with people and even have the to be able to have the balls to get in touch with someone and expect a 5% chance of a response as opposed to a 0% chance of response. So why even contact them? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. My point being is when things open up, I really do want to get on the road. At least it'd be nice to be on the road once a year. Go and
Yeah.
see something, go somewhere
And
different.
you know what? As we're watching your channel and going through the everything that was happening, COVID for you, once again, it allowed you to fill a desire everybody else had for seeing more of you, to spend more time with you, and it opened up your hands. A lot of people, they watch, they see a 20-minute episode that we're doing, not fully realizing how long it takes to set up, to do it all, take a couple of shots. And then the
Yeah.
worst part is to spend 8 to 10 hours editing one episode that
Yeah.
runs for 20 minutes. And and we could always spend a whole lot more time than that just to get fancy. It's I added a audio background just so it sits low in there. And it took me forever just to figure out how to just do that.
Well, that's the thing, man. When you're doing it, I mean, it's not like I come from a video background, right? It's everything I do in my videos. It's purely I've seen it in someone else's video and gone, that's cool. I'm going to Google that shit, figure out how to do it, and then, like you say, I mean, how long does it take you to learn it? And you don't even know what it's called, so you can't just Google it. It's like that was a kind of a cool transition, and it looked kind of like a whirlybird. I'm going to look for whirlybird transition. Nope, there's nothing on that. So then you spend an hour just Googling what you need to Google, and then you find out, it is brutal, man. It is brutal. But it's also fun, and I think I get the very strong feeling too that you're a skill gatherer. You just enjoy learning stuff for the sake of learning stuff. So
And
it
you
kind of
have
scratches.
to.
Oh, you have to be in that sort of to be in that sort of game. You have to, and even if you had a formal, I was just listening to a podcast between Peter McKinnon and Maddie last night, who are arguably two of the not them, but the videos they produce, the sexiest YouTubers on YouTube in terms of just the class of the videos they produce. And they were saying the most important thing is to just never stop learning, because now they're the old people in YouTube and all the young kids are coming up and doing stuff they never dreamt of. And if you sit on your laurels and just cruise, you're going to get left behind, So, and that's people that are at the top of the game, that are the tippy top. So for people like us that don't know what the hell we're doing, if you just cruise, you're screwed. You get left behind, man. But
But you can always see we're improving.
yeah, that's the thing. And it's interesting, right? Like even if you make a 1%, if you just have a 1% goal to improve this 1% thing in each video you make, it is pretty crazy how quickly that adds up. How and you if you invest the time, going back to that thing of, maybe it's something that if you knew how to do it, it would take you 45 seconds, but to do it the first time, it's going to take you 5 hours. If you can invest that, even if it's only once a month, by the end of the month, now you've got 4 new. By the end of the year, now you've got 12 new tricks up your sleeve,
And also, the one thing is to not leave your channel for a year, not switch softwares for editing, come back to the channel with a whole new software suite going, how the hell do I do this?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're getting way off topic here, but that's cool. We can talk inside baseball, I'm sure. I mean, the thing is, dude, if you're moving to Adobe, it's just the biggest resource on the face of the planet in terms of, there's just so many more videos and blogs and tutorials and stuff for Premiere.
Yeah, and you know what? The program I was using was excellent. I'd gotten very used to using the whole suite there. But I do all my own labels. I do all my own design. I just printed a 10-foot sign. So all that's done in Adobe Illustrator, and I have the Photoshop. I've got the whole suite. so I was sitting there and I was looking at it and going, well, I haven't renewed my old program, and I've been paying for Premiere for 2 years now. I might as well just bite the bullet and learn it when I'm starting back up again. At least. And I apologize to everyone out there who's watching. That I'm just getting back. It's going to be a little bit rough at the beginning, and I've already seen that I'm learning faster because I already had the base of what I was doing. So that's
Well, that's man. If
you know,
the first step in any of it is knowing what's possible and what you want to do, right? If you can answer those two questions, the information's out there.
yeah.
But if you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what's possible, and you don't know what you want to accomplish, good luck.
Are we talking about distilling again?
I was just going to say that entire conversation we just had applies 100% to distilling, right?
It really does.
1%, learn one extra thing every time you run the still, and then you've got 12 new tools in your arsenal by the end of the year. It's exactly the same thing. But yeah, to go back to your point on how much time goes into something, it's when you're recording a video, it is pretty crazy. And I don't think people just don't get it. They just think, oh yeah, you grab a camera and you record. That's easy. Yeah, dude, but it would be easy to stick a camera on a tripod on the corner and just hit record, but that's boring. And if you want a different angle for everything, something that would take 15 minutes to just do might take you 2 hours to record and do at the same time.
Because you're setting up and everything else. And you want to know how it's going to look when you're doing it. That's the same as I've already, done a couple of episodes or a couple of shots for the gin we're doing, and we're taking a different approach for it so that people can do it at home and understand the process a little better.
Nice.
So you're setting up those little shots, you're working ahead. Luckily, I now have almost a month of weekly releases. All in the bank.
Nice, good man.
So they're all in the bank, and that frees up my time to do this larger project. So
I've been thinking about this whole schedule thing too, man, and I think because we're kind of doing the same thing but from totally different angles, right? So now your main thing's the distillery, and the YouTube is going to be a supporting act to it. It's funny because as soon as I lost my job, the first thing my wife said to me was, right, so we're opening a distillery, right? And I looked at her and thought, I was thinking about that on the drive home. And we thought about it hard for a long time. And it basically came down to, I've put 3 years of hard ass work into this YouTube channel, which at that point in time was the side hustle, right? It was the kind of the escape plan / side hustle. And then to go and, like you said, just basically ignore that child, to orphan that child, to then start a distillery, which is related, but it's not the same thing.
Yep.
And I knew that's what it would mean. I knew it would mean that the distillery would just take over and the YouTube would become an afterthought. It just didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel right to take something that I'd been working on to try and sort of almost piratize the momentum and the community that had been built around the YouTube channel, and then try and shoehorn that into a different thing. It just didn't feel right.
And you know what? Ends up happening is the channel gets orphaned. And you know what? It was the hardest thing I did. And because I had right off the bat, we had all those beer issues. So I recorded everything. I had to voice over it, narrate it all. But I'm sitting there now going, okay, so I can just film this, throw it in the computer. I'll get to it when I get to it. And now there's this to do. Now there's this to do. Now there's this. So every time you looked at the computer going, this is hell. I feel so bad for, not keeping up. Yeah. And I'm not like that in real life. It was the orphan that had to go on the shelf for a while.
Yeah. I guess what I was coming back to and what I was saying before is that I almost feel like for someone in your position, I don't know if I'd even care about having a really regular release, because it's never going to be the A game for you, right? It's always going to be kind of an interest thing. It's going to be something that's there as a kind of almost like a lead magnet for the distillery. but probably more importantly, a behind the scenes look at what you're making for the people that are already really into what
Yep.
they're doing. People come, like, like you say, they're on their way up to their cottage. They see this place. What's this place? We've got an extra hour. Let's stop in there and get a drink and something to
Yep.
eat.
And
when
that
they're
is
allowed.
the other side of it. The one thing that we're trying to keep going is that I want to do all the small aspect of it first, record all that. We have a 2-liter glass still and do our first tests in that. Everybody has that available. Then we have the 100-liter Bain Marine. I also still have the 50-liter keg still, which is all hooked up. So we want to run everything in that before we go to the large one. So, you're going to show how you can do it all, how it's accessible by you. And in the final distillery, this is how the process changes. So I think going that route is going to be interesting.
Well, and that then works from both directions, right? So you have home distillers that are looking to you to learn how to make something, and they're in freaking Australia and they'll never taste your product, but they're interested in it because they see that you're some dude that's running a commercial distillery that's got plenty of awards and blah. They're like, oh yeah, I can trust this guy and I can learn from him. Then you've got distillers that are somewhat local to you, that are making their own products, but then they can go out and buy your product as a stick in the sand to see whether or not they're actually doing what you're saying. But then from the other end, you've got like these people that do come in and stop in at the distillery on the way to the cottage that are never going to distill a drop in their life, but because of the feel of the place that you've built up, because it's it's not like a the
No,
whole point is it's open, right? You want them to come in and feel
it's a
like they can.
geek emporium.
Yeah. So then they walk away and go, well, that's interesting. And oh, that's right, that guy's got a YouTube channel. Like, should we go and see how he made that? What was your favorite drink? What did you like best from what we tried today? Yeah, let's go look that up and see what, I sort of see, that's where I see the strength of what you're going to end up doing when you've got time to make videos. I think from that point of view, I mean, I don't know if killing yourself to hit a regular schedule makes a whole lot of sense, because you know what it's like, man. If you're like, I've got to get a video out on Friday, that inevitably means that you're going to put videos out that you're not happy with because it's Friday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get hit with something else in the distillery, and an order gets sent back because someone dropped a case, dropped a pallet somewhere, and now whatever. You're just not going to have time to make the video the way you want to make it. And this is something that I'm kind of struggling with now and trying to decide what I want to do too. Do I want to commit to, I was doing 3 videos a week for a while. Yep. Do I want to commit to that? But that means that I end up doing less practical videos and more talking head videos just to get to that schedule.
But you know what? You did those 3 a week, and that gained you a huge amount of subscribers. When you released a video, you were getting a good video was getting 1,000 hits a week. Now you released one video 2 days ago, and it's already at 21,000 hits. So, I mean, your growth is exponential. So you don't have to keep up that hard push of, 3 times a week.
But I guess what I'm saying is, looking back on it now, I almost wonder if that whole COVID period. So basically what happened is, lost my job, didn't know what was going to happen. The channel was at a point where if all the stars lined up, we could survive on the money it was making. If my wife kept her job, if we didn't have any crazy expenses, if the car didn't break down, if the hot water cylinder didn't blow up, we were going to be okay. So it was kind of a case of, screw it. I'm not going to, because you know what it's like, man. Like, looking for a job is a full-time job at the best of times. It's stressful. It takes all your time. And it was COVID, and I was in marketing, and everyone had just, they were the first people to go around here. So I was, what's the point in even looking for a job? I'll just go full time on this thing. And my first thought was, right, more videos, crank out the videos. But looking back on it, I kind of wonder whether it would have been better to say, screw it, I'll just do 1 video a week, but every single one of those videos is going to be me making something. Because if you look back on the, the one that I just put out, that's 20K after 2 days, it's a video where I'm making something, right? And you want to talk about how much time you put into something, dear God, when you the damn thing has to ferment for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's 6 weeks worth of work, Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing that I'm toying with at the moment, and I've even considered splitting the channel and having 2 channels. One that is only practical stuff, only making videos, that's very discoverable, that is more focused on kind of just interest stuff. People that aren't even into distilling can watch it.
Yeah.
They're interested on how do you make vodka from potatoes or whatever, and then have another channel that's the geeky talking, sort of stuff.
It's hard to say, and you're going to decide which way you're going to go. I think yeah, to balance it out, you do know that if you're making a how-to one, it's going to take you a few weeks. So you've got the fermentation, you've got everything else, the planning involved. So that's the one that you work on, and you have some fluffer ones, for lack of a better term, that will hold that
No,
place for that
exactly
week. And
yeah.
like right now, I'm into June already for release. So if I can get the second week of June done, then I can go back and start working on heavier on the gym ones, and I can build up some of that time. So
Nice.
yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So as long as I can keep ahead, have a buffer, life will be a lot easier.
Oh, it's so much easier with a buffer, man. Because then, when something happens, someone's sick or it's whatever. It's like, okay, I'm not going to make a video this week, but there's one queued up. Hit go. There was a time in my YouTube life when I had a buffer.
Yeah.
That got eaten up. It's gone. I need to get it back. I really need to get it back. But yeah.
So you have a timeline. I know you carry a timeline for things you want to do. Do you want to give us any hints? What's on that timeline coming up?
Yeah, man. If you give me 2 seconds, I can pull it up on my phone. OneNote is that's where it's at, man. Gotta love OneNote if I can find the damn thing. So I've currently got right over there, I've got a fermenter that is full of mead at the moment. So I'm going to be distilling that. I'm looking forward to that. That's been a long time in the making. And actually, I feel like an absolute asshole because literally 2 years ago, a guy from, I'm thinking about this because I really want to get it right. I think it's Manawatu Hives, and the bucket's not in front of me, so I can't find it. He donated a whole bucket, like 20 kilos of honey for me to do this. And I put it in the corner and didn't know how to make mead and read a few things that kind of intimidated me a little bit and went, right, I need to do some research on this. I'm going to do it properly, and promptly forgot about it. And then about 2 months ago, I moved some shit around. I was like, oh, that's a bucket of honey.
And you know what? I expected to see a mead one right after you did that one in Texas when you're at that mead house.
Yeah, those guys are. Oh no, I thought I had their hat on, but no. Yeah, dude, it just totally slipped my mind. So I'm excited about that, and I really want to make it work. And the honey is really freaking nice. It's I don't know if you've had Manuka honey. It's similar to Manuka honey, but not quite as pungent and herbal. It's a little bit more dark chocolate and caramel underneath.
Yeah, I keep 2 honeys in my cupboard. One is Manuka, and the other one is
nice.
Orange Blossom honey.
Nice.
And if you've ever had Orange Blossom honey, it's a little bit of heaven.
I have had it. I can't remember. There's a beehive place just up the road from where my parents live. And you can go in and do a tasting, and they have, like literally a honey flight, which is bizarre, right? Before that, I was like, dude, what are you talking about? A flight of honey? Honey is freaking honey. It's not.
Not at all.
And there's some out there stuff in there, man, like crazy out there stuff. Anyway, what have I got on the go? So the peach brandy just went out. I've got, do you know Beaver DIY from YouTube?
No.
He's got a small but growing quickly channel. He's done a bunch of work with bananas. He's in South Africa. So I've phoned in a friend to help me out with that. So that's coming up on the channel sometime soon. And when I say soon, guys, keep in mind that any one of these projects takes potentially 6 weeks from I actually finger on it to the video comes out. So
yeah, we did a contract run of peach, and I ended up doing 8,000 liters of peach mash.
Oh wow.
This place smelt amazing for quite some time.
Honestly, man, the biggest surprise to me was with the peach was I was expecting it to start. You know how a lot of things you start fermenting them, and as soon as they start fermenting, they either taste like the old rotten version of itself, or it just completely changes into a different smell that you almost wouldn't even recognize as the original flavor.
Yep. Yep.
That fermenter just smelt like fresh peach from
Yeah.
start to finish.
Yep.
I
No,
couldn't believe it.
we also had the fermenters in here as well. So yeah, that was still carrying on regardless. So that base smell
Mm,
was here. What surprised me was I was actually expecting a sharper peach flavor as it
right.
was coming out of the still, and I wasn't getting that. It was muddled. But as soon as I added just a drop of peach to it, it just went right up in the air.
Right. Oh, fresh peach. You put like
Yeah.
fresh peach back in.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
put a
right.
little bit of fresh peach in with the alcohol, and it went from something dull and quiet to just vibrant.
Mm. Yeah, I was surprised too, man. I was expecting to get a lot of that real fresh, juicy peach flavor right on the turn of heads to hearts, and I was expecting to have to kind of make a decision on how headsy do I want this versus how peachy do I want this. And there wasn't a lot of peach flavor sitting there. It was sitting a lot further down, and it broke up into a lot of um, how do you put it? There was a lot of flavors coming off the still. I was like, that's weird. What is that?
Yeah.
And then I'd go back and think about actually eating a fresh peach, not about eating a like peach ice cream or a peach fruit burst or something, and sort of think, oh, that's peach skin. That's not peach. That's peach skin.
Yes.
And then, oh, that's like if you lick a peach, not peach skin, not peach, but peach fluff. That is the flavor of peach fluff.
I'm not going anywhere there. No.
I mean, you're not into peach fluff. You're like, you don't lick peach fluff. You're lost, bro. But do you know what I mean? It was really interesting to see all those flavors come out, like separated off the still, coming out in time, and
Yeah,
then
and I wasn't
putting them
able
back together.
because yeah, you were able to do that in your trial size, like you collected your jars are separate. So
Yes.
uh
Yeah.
my still was actually just hooked right up to a tote. So I'm
Oh, it's just
collecting
not
into
great.
a 1,000 liter tote and I'm running this
Yeah.
through. So I was able to once again the bottom of my parrot I've got a valve, so I'm dumping the four shots, the heads. I collected the four shots, chucked them, and I was collecting the heads, and then I also collected the tails in the same bucket. And I was really actually quite surprised. Now, I do a heavy cut on the four shots, and I go well into the beginning of the heads. When I mix that with the tails, what was in the bucket was still usable. So,
Yeah. Right.
yeah. Whereas alone, separately, I would not have used either. But because I
Mm.
combined the two in the same bucket, at the end, I took a sip and sample and going, this is acceptable too.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, that was an interesting one, man. Sorry, I got us derailed there. What else have I got? I've got an interesting one coming up with Roy from Aquavita is going to be in it, and
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
so that's we're distilling Scotland's other national drink. I won't say any more about that. We'll let that one come out. That'll probably be one of the next sort of main videos coming out. But I've also got this barrel sitting here, which will be my first barrel. Everything else has been glass and wood inside it. And the Patreons voted on that. And we are going to do a mashup of rum and bourbon. So it's going to be, I'm thinking at this stage, I haven't 100% decided, but I think it's going to be 100% malted corn because that's what I have on hand. But it has no diastatic power. So it'll be malted corn plus enzymes and then just molasses into the fermenter as well to get it up to whatever gravity we're going to target. And I haven't decided on the ratio between the two yet because I could see the molasses getting really overpowering to the corn pretty quick. So I don't know. What do you reckon? I'm thinking about probably 25-30% fermentables from molasses at the moment. And whether or not I take into account the unfermentables in that, I don't know yet. But that's kind of the ratio I'm thinking.
Yeah, I I wouldn't be able to offer anything on that. I still have to do like I know what the corn's going to do. I still have to do the rums to know what the profile is for that.
Mm.
And the only background I have on rum is when I was 13 years old doing shine, and yeah, you don't want to drink
Right.
that.
Yeah, right. Dude, I can't believe, going back to you saying that corn is cheaper than sugar. That is so crazy.
A
That would be so.
bag, a 20 kilogram bag of sugar is $19,
Yep.
and a what was it? A 55-pound bag of flaked corn was $8.99.
That's so nuts,
So,
man.
by the time I've done 3 bags of corn, there's the same diastatic power as 2 bags of sugar. Corn's cheaper, and
Yeah.
it's already flaked, so it's already steamrolled.
Yes. Yes. You don't have to gelatinize it and everything. Dude, even if I go to the feed store and pick up like feed corn, it's still way more expensive than sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
How does it
that
how does that
was
work out for you? Is it because you're basically piggybacking on all the subsidized corn out of America? Is that why it's cheap?
I don't. I'm using a local feed mill. There's
Oh,
everything that I use is grown within 50 kilometers of me.
yeah,
So
nice.
what the subsidy is on it, I just don't know. I haven't dived into that. It's not one
Yeah,
of those
right.
things I really needed to know.
Yeah.
What shocked the hell out of me is whole corn, cracked corn is a lot more expensive than flake corn.
I wonder if that's a grading thing, whether it's a higher grade of corn or something. Because I mean, obviously surely there's a higher cost of work being put into flaked corn than cracked corn.
There is.
I mean, there'd have to be, right? Surely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean the steam run roller mills,
Yeah.
but yeah, the feed mill I use, it's basically their whole corn and they steamroll it, and it's
That's
cheaper.
weird. That's so weird. I mean, like a
Hey,
gift horse in the mouth,
I'm
right? Take
happy
that
with
shit.
it. Yeah, it was bad enough. We did we have a white rye, so it's 100% rye, and I can't get that in 50-pound bags, so I can only get it in 2,500-pound bag. So I'm picking it up with the forklift. It's in the back of my pickup, so I take drive down, get the bag dropped into my pickup truck. And the first time I went to get it, I got this huge bag standing up. Guy dropped in the pickup, and it went over.
Oh no.
Oh, that was the weirdest time I had trying to get grains out of that truck.
Oh dear. I mean, at least it's distilling, right?
Yep,
There's
yep.
nothing wrong with
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
it.
It's I've learned a lot. You know what? I've done so much, and I mean I was running my stills, 15, 18 hours a day, so I'm doing 2 runs or 3 runs a day, and having the 2 stills, as soon as one goes down, you're bringing the other one up. I tried to stay away from running them both at the same time. I did do that to see how they played together and learn, because when I start doing a brandy in one still and a grain in the other and start mixing them
Mm.
up in the column, I wanted to know all that. So I have learned in leaps and bounds in the last year how my system works and everything else. So, for that, yeah, I'm happy that happened. But yeah, it's nice to, once this round of COVID's over, hopefully that's the end of it and we can all get back on track again.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how it's funny, man. I'm always cautious of talking about this stuff because I know how lucky I've had the whole the COVID thing, and I know how devastating it's been for other people, even in New Zealand, but obviously other places of the world. But it has been interesting to watch a lot of, how do you put it? It's like, oh, COVID put us out of business. It's like, well, you were kind of doomed anyway, and either just not admitting it or not working to change it, and COVID was the last nail in the coffin, or there was no evolve or die mentality, to a lot of things that I've seen. It's like, well, this is the way we've always done it, and it's always worked, and now COVID's come along and it's ruined it. It's like, yeah, dude, did you look at e-commerce? No. Well, okay, and I feel really, really bad saying that, because obviously there's a whole lot of people that did everything they could and still just got screwed. But it is interesting seeing the people that were happy to completely pivot, to completely change, to find the silver linings. And I don't know, man. I feel like that's going to be, in the long run, I think it almost is going to work out better for you. Do you know what I mean? Like having that time to just really know your stills and your equipment and your space and your product without the pressure of all the other stuff that would have come along with having a distillery that's new and trying to sell product at the same time.
Yeah.
In 10 years' time, I feel like that's going to be worth more to you, you know?
Oh, yeah, it'll pay back in the end. And you know what? My father, as I was growing up, he always says it's better to be the willow than the oak in the storm.
Yep. Just go with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know what? We come out of it. We're still smiling. We're still joking. The wife slaps me a lot more, but yeah, that's normal.
Oh, dear.
She going, are you that much of an idiot? Yeah, okay. I keep a sign in this room, and give me a quick second.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take off on you like that. I didn't plan on bringing something like this out. So I keep a sign just to try to keep my mind on track. And the wife looks at me after she reads it and she says, but you don't. And I said, oh my God, dear, you have no idea how much I do.
I'm sorry. I can't. You're like going to have to read it to me.
You should keep the really fucked up ideas inside your head. She's going, but you don't. I said, oh my God, do I ever?
You're getting 10%. Hilarious, man.
Jesse,
well,
I've taken more than enough of your time. I didn't expect to run this long. I appreciate it. You know, you have no idea how much of an effect you've had on my life, my wife's life, my kid's life. You know, it's an amazing bit. We wouldn't have had the confidence to do this without you leading us in the beginning. Yeah, do we agree with everything you say? No, God, no. But that's fine. You know, we when we disagree, we prove you wrong. But that's for us and the way we do things. You have been a blessing. I love watching your life, and you know, and the wife wants the lambs back. She misses those.
Yeah, they we didn't even get those in the freezer in the end, man. The last lot, they went back to where they came from, back to the farm, turned into pets, I believe.
She's talked about, whenever she brings up you in a conversation with others, she talks about, you know, we're watching them, and then all of a sudden this lamb comes in and goes, bah! She said that's one of the greatest things she enjoys about it. So
the kids loved them.
Yeah. So you've been a blessing coming into her life when you did. You know, it's. I'm not trying to blow that much smoke up your ass, but yeah, you've done an amazing thing for us, and and you've also been the greatest scapegoat because I keep telling the wife, Jessie made me do it.
You're gonna have to start taking some responsibility for that one yourself, I think, mate.
No.
Oh, dude, it's been good to catch up with you, man, and I look forward to one day being able to have a drink with you, and even more importantly, have a drink of your stuff with you. That'll be good.
Yeah, we actually had to move my liquor cabinet a little while ago, and we counted over 300 bottles. So I think you'll have a good time.
All right, so it's going to be a long trip then. All right,
yeah, it's going to be a couple days here, anyways, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see when we'll make all the arrangements. But I think when you do come and you're visiting, we were going to arrange a large gathering. We're going to have a live band, and we're going to have basically a moonshine outing, and you're going to be one of the special guests.
Well, there's a lot of people in Canada that I want to catch up with. You know, there's a growing list of people that I would like to see. Many of who are mutual friends of ours. So, it'd be nice to have a base camp as such.
Yeah. So we just, when we make the arrangements, we'll arrange one day that I'll shut the distillery down, and it'll be just the people come to visit.
Sounds awesome, man. I can't wait. That'll be great.
Jessie, thank you for coming. Everybody, yeah, I'm getting back. I'm doing what I can. It's we're going to try and stay on track as best we can here. Hopefully, we don't get slapped down again. This has been excellent. It's been a great time spending with Jessie, and I hope everyone is following them. Hope everyone is subscribed to Jessie as well as our channel. And we just want to say thanks for joining us, folks. Keep in touch, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you guys.